everybody. So this week we're going to be learning a little bit more about how our hydroponics lab works. So today I'm going to give you a little bit of a tour through the different pieces of equipment that are in the lab. And then as the week goes on, we're going to be learning a little bit more about how each piece of equipment works, what we add to them, what kinds of plants are best in the different types of equipment. So today we're just going to start by taking a look at everything, and we're going to start over here with the first step of growing our plants hydroponically, which is using the seedling tray. So let me flip you around and show you. So this is our seedling tray over here. Right now there's not much in it because we've just transferred most of our seedlings over into the system. But basically there's 3 different rows with these trays inside of them where you can put water and nutrients. And then each row of this has its own light fixture. We'll look at this row right here where we've still got some things growing. Over on the left we've got some of our smaller plants that have been transferred into these things called net cups. These net cups help to make sure that the plant can sit inside of our different systems. And you can see at the bottom, what's important is that a little root is coming out from the bottom of these cups. So these have all been placed over here with some water and some nutrients to try and get their roots to grow a little bit stronger before we put them in the system. These ones over here are a little bit bigger. You can see we've got tomatoes back there. This is a cucumber plant, eggplants, and sweet peppers. And these have been transferred into a bigger cube here so that they can get put into our vine crop system, which is the one that I'm going to show you next. So let's swing around over here. This is our aquaponics tank. You can probably hear it running while I'm teaching you guys during the day. This is eventually going to have fish swimming around in it, and then those fish will produce waste, and that waste will feed our plants. But we still don't have fish just yet, so we're going to ignore that one for now, and we're going to come over and we're going to look at our vine crop system. It's hard to get it all in frame here. This is our vine crop system. What types of plants do you think would be best growing in this system? These are plants that are going to want to grow up, really tall, and twirl themselves, vine themselves around something. So what we've got in here are all of our nice tall vining plants. This is a cucumber plant, these 2 right here, and you can see that they're attached to the strings that are coming from the top of this trellis here. And as they grow, they're going to vine their way up. You can see that this one's made a little bit of a tendril here, but he's tendriling to the wrong spot. Oh no. So we've got our 2 cucumber plants. Over here we've got some sunflowers in the middle, so they're getting nice amount of light, and you can see this one's getting really big and it already has a little bud going on inside of it. More cucumbers, more sunflowers, and then this over here is our peas, and you can really see them starting to vine their way up. They send out these little feelers, and then those feelers will wrap themselves around whatever they can find. That one's doing really good, to pull the plant upwards so that they can grow. Now let's look at what's going on in here. Underneath the system you see this big tank, or tub, and you see some piping going this way underneath the buckets, and then you see some blue piping going up here. So what happens in this bucket, if I can open it up, we've got a pump right here, and that pump is connected to this blue tube. So let's follow the tube up and over, and we see it ends up in this tube here. Now what this tube does is it has these little connectors that go into each bucket, and when it's time, the water gets pushed up into this tube and then out through these tubes into each bucket. And what you'll see at different times during the day is that the water comes out through these little spouts twice a day for about half an hour. and then it gets the block in here nice and moist. There is one of those cubes of wool, of rock wool, in here acting like the soil for the plant. All of this is connected to a timer that that timer up there deals with the lights, and that keeps them on 12 hours a day. And this timer here tells the water pump when to turn on. It looks like the time is a little bit off here, but that's okay. And then so once the water goes in through the soil, the way that it's able to recycle so that we can save water in this system is that it flows down through the soil, through the rock wool, back into this tube, and then it just comes back here and goes back into the bucket. So I only have to fill this up right now about once a week because it's there's not that many plants growing, it's not evaporating or anything, and it's getting recycled. Over here, this is the thing we set up on Friday. This is called the NFT, or the Nutrient Film Technique Hydroponics. And it works very similarly to the other system, the vine crop system. We've got a pump inside of this tube, inside of this bucket. In the bucket there is water with some nutrients, which we'll talk about later. The pump pumps the water up and over into this tube, which acts the same as the tube in the other one, where it shoots the water into these channels and the water flows down underneath the roots of all of the plants. Okay, I can get you from the other side of this and can actually show you what's going on. So this one is open at the end, so you should be able to see that the water is flowing in through that tube and flowing down past the roots of this, what do we got here? This arugula plant that's sitting at the end. So it keeps them nice and moist. Okay. Focus. There we go. So these have only been in here for a few days. They're looking a little bit floppy, but as they get a little bit bigger and stronger, they'll stand up, they'll get nice and bushy, and we'll be ready to harvest them. We've got arugula, I think. No, actually this is bok choy, arugula, kale, some oregano, some little tiny baby oreganos, and some parsley way over there. So that's what's growing in here, and then once we have some more seedlings, we'll get both sides started. And last but very not least is the tower garden. This is my favorite one. It works so easily. It makes really, really beautiful lettuce. This one is better for greens that kind of stand upright or flop down. So these will end up being in like nice little bunches over time. The towel garden is good for two things. I like using it for heads of lettuce because they'll get nice and round and full, but also for other types of herbs that are going to flop down and then they'll fill in the spaces in between. So basically what's happening in this one, you don't see any cups in this one. They're actually just in these little clips. So if I can pull a clip out, you should be able to see it. They're just kind of clipped in there. The bottom of the bucket has got the same exact thing going on as the other machines. If I take off this little drawer, then in there is a pump, just like with the other ones. It is pumping the water all the way to the top up here, and then the water sprinkles down past the plants that you're seeing. And you can kind of, well, it's hard to get in there because the lights are so bright, so I can't get so close for you. But basically the water sprinkles down past the plants and keeps their roots nice and moist. We've got lettuce here at the bottom. These, like I said, are going to have a nice round, they're going to look like a nice round head of lettuce. We've got some basil. This one is not doing so good, so that one might be getting removed soon. And some purple basil up there as well. So this is what our hydroponics lab looks like. I can give you a nice view of the whole thing. Our tower garden, our NFT system, and our beautiful vine crop system, which will soon be full to the brim. All of these will grow all the way up to the tippy top of this. And yeah, there's a lot of other things going on. This is where we keep all of our equipment over here. So we've got our nutrients, we've got scoops and testers for testing pH and fixing the pH of the different system. We've got extra pluggies and tubes and some interesting different chemicals that we might use, as well as eco-friendly sponges and bags for gathering all of our produce when it comes time to that, eco-friendly soaps, and some soil for when we do other experiments. So that is it for today. We're gonna, like I said, look more deeply into how these different systems work, what the nutrients are that you need to provide for them, how we make sure that those nutrients are at the right level. We are going to learn all of that as this week goes on. All right? Bye, everybody.